Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, I love the music because I'm just like back here getting excited, getting excited. Hello, everybody. For those of you that may not know me, I am Jen Shirkus, the creative chick, and I host Crop on the Cape in March of every year. March 2026 is going to be our 27th year. I have been part of the event since 2004. I've been running the event since 2017. I see lots of familiar names with me in the chat live today. I see Tracy's here from Papercraft Clubhouse. She is one of the amazing vendors that will be on hand to take care of all of your crafty needs throughout the weekend. Let me know in the chat, have you attended Crop on the Cape before? Or are you just here to learn all about it? I did see Catherine and Rose are here, and they have been part of Crop on the Cape, oh gosh, like a lot of years, 20 plus years. Very, very exciting. So we have lots of people that come from, year after year after year. But if you're a newbie or you are possibly somebody who wants to come solo, we have lots of those that come every year as well. I think last year we had close to 40 people that attended solo. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we had lots of first timers as well. So super, super fun. And I see Marcy is checking in from Florida. We do have people attend Crop on the Cape from all over North America. Some people fly, some people drive, trains, planes, and automobiles. So let's get started. I wanted to, first of all, just kind of explain, I do host 2 different in-person events here on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and they sometimes get interchanged and people get a little bit confused about the difference of the 2 events. Both of the logos are very similar. One event that we're going to talk a lot about today is obviously Crop on the Cape. But we're also going to, what I wanted to explain is my other in-person event, which is the Creative Journey Art Retreat. I like that people can just kind of hear a quick explanation of both of the events. And especially if you're new to me and new to my events, you can kind of choose which event is best for you because they are very, very different. So I do see lots of people in the chat with me today. Thank you so much for joining. I forgot to mention at the beginning, I have a list of stuff in front of me that I want to make sure I go over. And then at the end, I'm going to answer any questions that you guys might have. So if you put the word question in all caps at the beginning of your question, I'll pull those up at the end of my live and make sure I answer all of them and give you guys an answer to those. Okay. And yes, yay, Miss Libby is here. Libby is going to be teaching with Pink and Maine, which is so awesome. And she'll be coming up from Georgia. Love that. Love that. Okay. So let me just give you a 2-second explanation of what the difference between my 2 events is. So Creative Journey Art Retreat is the event that I host in November. We're actually getting really close. We're just a couple weeks away. And it is around 100 people attend that event. And it is a weekend long art retreat. I teach all weekend and we make at least 12 cards. This coming November, we're going to be making 14. We have a fun dessert soiree. It's called Glitter All of the Things. So you can choose what you would like for your attire. I have a pop-up shop. You get a box of goodies from our sponsors, and we use those products to create our cards. And it's a variety of cards, a variety of sponsors. We have, super whimsical and fun from Lawn Fawn, and then we have some artsy fartsy mixed media stuff from Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous, and everywhere in between. So that is the Creative Journey Art Retreat. And again, I host that in November every year here on Cape Cod, and registration typically opens later in the spring. So April 2026-ish is when we'll open up registration for November 2026. All right. So, but what we're here to talk about today is Crop on the Cape. And this event started in 1999, and it started as your traditional old school crop where it was just scrapbookers would come and attend, working on their layouts, and then taking some classes here and there. And it's just kind of grown and morphed over the years. So again, we're going to be celebrating our 27th year in 2026. And we have people come that are scrapbookers, card makers, mixed media artists. Some people just come and knit all weekend. Some people come rolling in with their supplies and might not make anything, but they have a lot of fun chatting, doing the games, and shopping with the vendors. So it's a really, really fun event. We have over 300 people attend. We host it at the Emerald Resort here in Hyannis on Cape Cod. There is an 11,000 square foot ballroom, and we fill that ballroom with so much creative, fun energy. It really is just so amazing. And as well as working on your own projects, there also are a variety of classes that you can take. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So the event is going to be March 12th to the 15th. Like I said, in 2026. However, registration is opening up a week from yesterday, so November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And that's why I like to just kind of go over it all, go over all of the details and kind of make sure everybody understands what is going on. Typically, the registration, the event does sell out quickly. So if it is something that you are interested in doing, you definitely want to be there to register right when registration opens. Now, over the years, with registration selling out so quickly, we've gotten a lot of suggestions from people. Well, why don't you just host the event somewhere else where you can fit more people? Well, Cape Cod doesn't have a lot of really big facilities. The Emerald Resort Center is, like I said, it's an 11,000 square foot ballroom, and it is the largest space on Cape Cod at this time. And it's Crop on the Cape. We want to host it on Cape Cod. I live here on Cape Cod, and I love to bring people here and enjoy this space. So moving the event, unfortunately, is not an option. The other question that people sometimes ask, well, if it sells out so quickly, why don't you just host it again the very next weekend? In a perfect world, that would be amazing. However, there's a lot of logistics that go on behind the scenes. First and foremost, the Emerald Resort is extremely busy here on Cape Cod, and they have a big event almost every weekend of the year. So I don't think we'd be able to be there the very next weekend. And second of all of our vendors and our teachers kind of drop their lives and join us for the weekend. I again, Tracy, I know, is here from Papercraft Clubhouse. She has a store in Connecticut, and she packs up a lot of the product that is in her store and drives it on up to Massachusetts. So we can't really do 2 weekends back to back like that. A lot of our teachers travel in from different areas in North America. Like I said, I saw Libby was here in the chat. She's coming up from Georgia. I know Kelly's coming in from Ohio. So there's just a lot of logistics. So unfortunately, we can't do 2 weekends back to back. So what I did is I started last year offering 2 different registration packages. There's the classic weekend package, and then there's the option of doing a class pass package. So the classic weekend package means that you get space in the ballroom, table space, to work on your own projects, whatever that project is, scrapbooking or stamping or mixed media. And you get that space from Thursday afternoon until Sunday afternoon. And that's that. Also included in the classic weekend package is you get a swag bag from all of our amazing sponsors. So I'll bring that up on the screen for you guys. So all of our platinum sponsors donate something for every attendee, and you get a swag bag with those goodies. These sponsors might update as we get closer to the event. And then the gold sponsors and the silver sponsors donate prizes. Everybody wins a prize throughout the weekend as well. Also included in the classic weekend package is you get to attend both of our dessert socials. We have one on Friday night and Saturday night. There are games, whether you want to be part of the games or you just want to watch the games. My friend Jen Nickerson hosts those, and they are always so much fun to watch. And then there's all the vendors on site to shop with, chit chat, learn about their products. Some of them do little make-and-takes in their station, and they're just so much fun to be able to, get your crafty items purchased throughout the weekend. So that's what's included in the classic weekend attendance. But what I noticed, and Josie and I, my friend Josie, who helps me out a lot with this event, we were chatting it out. And as we are filling registration packets with class tickets of those of you that register for classes, we noticed that there are several people who just take a lot of classes, which is awesome because there's 15 classes to choose from and such a wide variety. It's so amazing to be able to take these classes in person from these fabulous teachers. We realized that those people that are taking a lot of classes aren't really spending a lot of time in the ballroom at their space. So last year, for the first time, I offered a class pass registration. And with the class pass registration, you get everything that a classic weekend attendance gets, except for space in the ballroom. So if you are going to be taking a lot of classes, this is the perfect option for you. And especially if you're traveling from afar and you don't want to worry about packing up projects of your own to work on, you'll just have to pack up your class supplies and do the class pass. So with the class pass, you'll still get a swag bag from those amazing sponsors. You'll still be able to be part of the dessert social. You'll still be part of the giveaways. You can participate in the games. You can shop with the vendors. Literally everything for the weekend except for getting a space in the ballroom. So think about that as you're looking over the schedule. The full schedule is posted on the Crop on the Cape website right now, as well as all of the classes are all listed out on my website. So you'll be able to kind of pick and choose which is best for you. All right. So I already mentioned a lot of people do come solo, and many times they leave with new crafty friends. So if you are a single crafter, maybe you don't have any friends that do participate in this hobby. I think this is a perfect place to come and meet some new friends. We have people who now attend every year together who met at this event, which is just so awesome. I did already mention that people travel from all over North America. I think I forgot to mention the prices. So for the classic weekend attendance, it's $175. And for the class pass, it's $40. Classes are an additional price. The teachers set those prices, and they range from $25, I think, to maybe $80. It just depends on how long the class is, what the project is you're making, what the supplies are that are being provided. So all of that, again, is listed out on the website now. So I'm just looking at my notes because I think I got off script here a little bit. So let's talk about registration. We have learned over the years, with the high traffic of people coming to my website, some of the key things to keep in mind and the key things to do during registration to help make the process a little bit more seamless. I will let you guys know, if you only hang out with me for Crop on the Cape and you only participate with things on my website for Crop on the Cape, I updated my hosting company for my website January of 2025. I have a new hosting company, and registration for my other large in-person and online events has been going very smoothly. I'm very encouraged that things are going to go really well on November 10th. I will have my web developer, Chris, not my boyfriend, Chris, another Chris, on hand since registration is on a Monday. And if we run into any snafus, please know that we are behind the scenes working on things to get things up and running. But with that being said, some really important things that we have learned over the years to help make things go much more smoothly. So if you are attending with a friend or 4 friends or 8 friends, it is highly recommended that one friend registers all of you, okay? And this is for several reasons. One, that'll only put one person on my website versus 8 people on my website. So that will help keep bandwidth and traffic down during registration. Also, when one person is registering your group of friends, it makes the seating requests a whole lot less confusing. I can only imagine, I bet you can only imagine how tricky it is to do a seating chart for over 300 people. And when you have a group of friends and all of you are kind of listing people differently or listing different first and last names, trust me, it's happened. It could just make doing the seating chart that more complicated. So if just one of you registers all of you, there are no questions on what your seating requests are, right? The other thing is, if you are a group of multiple people and registration does sell out quickly, if one of you is registering all of you, you'll all get in. But if you guys are all trying to register your own selves, there's a chance that some people from your group might not get in. So it's just best to have, again, one person register all the friends. Set up, have people Venmo you, Apple Pay you, mail you a check, whatever it is, but just have one person pay for all of you. Before registration opens on November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, you want to make sure that you have an account set up on my website, shirkus.com. I'll kind of show that to you in a few minutes. So if you've never purchased anything on my website before, you'll want to set up a brand new account. If you haven't been there in a while, maybe you haven't been on my website since last year's registration, you want to go there and maybe make sure you can log in and you remember your password, or you can reset your password and just get all situated so you have all of that figured out well before registration opens, okay? So you will be able to put in your seating requests. There's 8 people per table. So if you're a group of 9, we're going to split your group up and put some of you at one table and some of you at another table. We can only fit 8 people per table. So just keep that in mind. Our number one goal when it comes to seating you is that you're with your friends. That's our number one goal. Any other seating requests above and beyond that, where specifically in the room you want to be, which way you want to face, any of that is all secondary. We just want to make sure that you're sitting with your friends so you can have the most amazing weekend that you deserve, okay? During registration, if there are errors happening on my website, some suggestions from my web developer is you can hit refresh But then you want to make sure you wait 30 to 60 seconds. Don't just keep hitting the refresh button, because what might happen is my website might think that you're a bot or you're trying to spam the site, and you could get accidentally blocked from the website. So it's really hard, I know, but just hit refresh. Maybe sing the ABCs out loud and hit refresh again, but just try not to constantly hit refresh. It's also good to kind of plan ahead of time. Make sure you're going to be somewhere where you have good Wi-Fi, maybe somewhere where other people aren't going to be streaming or using up that Wi-Fi. Maybe be on a computer or a phone where you can be on Wi-Fi. Don't use your mobile data if you are going to be using your phone. All of these things will help make registration run more smoothly. When you go to register, this is what's going to happen. Let's say you're coming solo, or you're the friend in charge. I see Julie says she's that friend in charge of registering everybody. You're going to go onto my website, and I'll show you where exactly in just a minute. You're going to choose which package you want, whether it be the classic weekend attendance or the class pass. You're going to choose how many you want. So again, are you coming solo, or are you registering for multiple friends? So you're going to choose the quantity that you want. You're going to add that to your cart. You're going to go to your cart and you're going to cash out. You're going to pay all the dollars and be all set. You've secured those seats. After you finish cashing out, my website will bump you over to a form. This is where you are to put in everybody's first name, last name, and email address. It is so important, you guys, that you put in everybody's individual email address. That way we can communicate with them, but we also can give them access to log in, purchase their own classes. We're going to have pre-order for Crafty gear and other fun things that they will need access to. And so it's really, really important. Now, you don't have to worry. You've already secured the seats, so now just take a little bit of time and make sure you put in that important information for us. So make sure you have that information before you go to register, okay? So once you have done that, by filling out that form, it doesn't give immediate access to your friends to be able to log in and sign up for classes. So you need to register first for classic weekend attendance or class pass, cash out of that, and then you go back and register for classes. That is how my website will know who actually has purchased one of those options to be able to allow them to have access to purchase the classes. So when you fill out that form with your friend's information, it is a manual process for us to add them into the system to be able to purchase classes. So if the friend in charge would like, they can go in and purchase multiple seats in the classes that you and your friends want. All that means is when you guys come in to check in for registration for the event, let's say Julie has registered all of her friends and she registered multiple seats in all the classes. When she comes in to check in with us on Thursday night of the event, she's just going to have a lot of extra class tickets, and those are like cash. So whoever's holding on to that class ticket can attend that class. So she can hand out the class tickets to who they belong to. Again, once things kind of quiet down later in the day on registration day, we will import all of that information from the forms, but that does not happen immediately. Okay. So I just want to make sure that is clear. All right. And I do see a few questions coming in. I promise I'll answer those at the end, and just keep them in case I miss them, but I will scroll back. I just want to make sure I get through all of my information. Okay. We already talked about seating requests. So even let's say I keep using Julie as an example, and I'm sure she doesn't mind, but let's say she's registering 4 friends and she puts the first and last name and the email address of all of those 4 friends. Under seating requests, which is part of that same form, it's really helpful if she still just lists those 4 people because there's many different scenarios that happen with an event of this size. And she may be registering a friend that for whatever reason is sitting somewhere else. I don't know. Trust me. In 26 years, we've seen it all. So definitely put everybody's first and last names in those seating requests section. All right. If you're coming solo, it doesn't hurt in the seating request to just say, hey, I'm coming solo. When Josie and I start doing the seating chart, which is we start to finish and we do it all in one day because otherwise I can't keep track of why we moved people to certain places. And I think we kind of keep track every year, but I think it takes us about 10 hours. But when we start to get to those solo people or people who registered on their own, I start to doubt that they actually are solo and maybe they just forgot to put a seating request in. So then I start emailing them just to double check and we have to wait for them to respond. So if you are coming solo, it is super helpful in the seating request. If you just put, hey, coming solo, it just takes my worry out of the game because trust me, you guys, I really, really do worry about the seating rich chart because I just want everybody to be happy with who they're sitting with. Okay. So after you have purchased your package or your packages for your friends and you cashed out, and then it bumps you to the form to fill out. So we know your friends' names and email addresses, and it's also the time you put your seating request in. Let's say you want to now go purchase classes. You should be able to just go and add your classes to your cart and cash out. If for some reason it's not letting you add them to a cart, I would just recommend logging out of your account and logging back in. That just kind of helps the system refresh itself and see, oh yeah, they did already register for Crop on the Cape, so we can allow them to purchase these classes. So typically during registration, we also do a pre-order of Crafty gear, whether it be Crop on the Cape logo or on crafty sayings that I have designed over the years. This year I decided we're going to do the pre-order of Crafty gear a little bit later on. To be fully transparent, I have a fun new design that I want to do, and I haven't been able to finalize it just yet and get the mock-ups made and all of that. So stay tuned. Those of you that have registered for Crop on the Cape will get access to pre-order Crafty gear, which is really awesome because then you get to choose what style, what color, what size, what design you want instead of maybe always seeing it out of stock on my website. So stay tuned. That will be coming soon for sure. So obviously there's a limited amount of seats, like I said, for both the classic weekend attendance and the class pass. There's also limited seats available for the classes. If for some reason, or when some of those classes start to sell out, there might be an opportunity where we will open up a second session. So if a class that you want to take has sold out, sign up for stock notification. And that way, if somebody decides to not take the class and a seat becomes available, you'll be notified. Or if we make a second session available, you will be notified. I really recommend you guys check out the weekend schedule, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. and start to plan out your class schedule, what you want to take when, and that will make sure that you guys aren't accidentally overlapping your time slots. We'll have 3 different rooms with classes going on in all 3 rooms, all day Friday and all day Saturday. So you just want to kind of map out the creative journey you're going to take during Crop on the Cape. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is often in the frenzy of registering, and it's November 2025, and the event is not till March 2026, you might wonder, what was it that I registered for? What classes did I sign up for? You'll always be able to log into your account and go to orders, and you'll be able to see exactly what you have registered for. So just keep that in mind. It's always, all that information is always at your fingertips. When Crop on the Cape does sell out, we will have a form for the wait list. And please don't be discouraged. Definitely join that wait list. As we start to do the seating chart, often we can bring people in off the wait list. And again, it's months before the event, so things change in people's lives, and we often bring many, many people in off the wait list. So don't be discouraged. Get on that wait list. And if we reach out to you and you've changed your mind and you can't make it anymore, just respond to us and let us know. No worries there. We'll just move to the next people in line. But it's definitely worth the time to fill out the form for the wait list. The other thing I wanted to mention is you can book your hotel room now. The Emerald Resort does sell out. There are several big events that go on the same weekend as Crop on the Cape in Hyannis. So the hotel is pretty popular and sells out quickly. So all of that information is on the website, and you can book your hotel room now. So now I'm going to screen share real quick and give you guys just a little quick overview of where you can find this information that I am talking about. All right. And then I'll answer all of your questions. So if you go to my website right now, shirkus.com, you'll see right at the top, it says the Crop on the Cape registration is November 10th. And you can click details here. And this actually brings you to the page where you will purchase your registration. You can kind of choose things. Right now it's going to say out of stock, but you can kind of see what I mean, how you can choose classic weekend attendance or class pass. And then if you scroll down here, there is a little bit of information and it will give you some links to bring you on over to the Crop on the Cape website. All right. So the day registration opens, you can either click the link in this pink bar. You also could go to classes, upcoming classes. I teach lots of classes. So these are all in calendar order. So you'll have to scroll down a little bit to get to March of next year. But here is where you'll find it on the class page. All right. So very, very easy for you guys to find how to register. I even made this button here, just announced. This will also bring you to registration. Okay. So November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern time, that is where you'll want to go. Now, this is all on my website, shirkus.com, because it's set up for online ordering and all the things that are entailed in that. Because as I mentioned, I do offer a lot of in-person and online classes. So this is the website that I've kind of spent most of my time and energy on. However, if you go to events and retreats and scroll down to Crop on the Cape, this is going to bring you to the website that is all about this event. Really, any information you're needing to find about Crop on the Cape, it's probably here. So under the About section, most importantly is our venue and room reservations. So this is where you'll go to see the room rates, the discounted room rates, and get the room code when you go to book your hotel room. And then under what's included, this is where it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more of an explanation of what ClassPass is and the classic weekend attendance. It also gives you some more information on what is offered throughout the weekend. So you can kind of read up on that. Then under who will be there, you'll be able to look at all of the different vendors that will be on site that you'll be able to shop with throughout the weekend. Again, I have the sponsors listed, and this is, probably going to change. We'll probably get some more sponsors as well. I'm always so thankful to them. They help make our swag bags really fun, and then also all the prizes that we give out throughout the weekend. You can also check out all the Crop on the Cape teachers and learn a little bit about each of them. Maybe, some of them might be new to you and you want to kind of see what their deal is, and so you can read about them. And then also underneath where the teacher's bio is, I've linked any of the classes that they're teaching. And so you can go and check out that class, read all about it, and get a sense for maybe what classes you will want to take. The 2026 schedule, we'll update this all the time up until the event. But right now, it gives you a great overview of what classes are happening at what time. So again, you can figure out your class schedule and see which classes you would like to take. So lots of fun there. And then the FAQ, anytime I get an email asking me a question, I typically answer the email. And then I go right on over and add it to the FAQ page, because I figure if somebody's asking, other people probably want to know as well. So there's a lot of great information on the FAQ page. And then this big teal button up here brings you right back to where you will register on November 10th. All right. So I just thought that was helpful for you guys to kind of see. I am such a visual person. And so I think it's easier for me to kind of explain to you what's going on and show you what's going on. If you guys have any questions, you can email me creative-chick@shirkus.com. Obviously, emailing me now is better than the morning of registration. So definitely get your questions in if you're watching this on replay and maybe I didn't answer a specific question. All right, so I am going to go back and try to answer some of these questions that came through. It's helpful if you put the word question in the beginning, because I can search for that here in the chat and make sure I answer them. Let's see. Carol says, do you match up solo attendees to share a room? So we have tried to do that in the past, Carol. I have a Facebook group, the Creative Chick Studio Share Facebook group, and I always encourage people, they can post in there looking for a roommate. I can also try to add it to some of my email newsletters that go out to attendees. So that is definitely something that we can work on to try to help you with that. Just let us know. All right. Amy says, is there a maximum number of people you can register? That's a really good question, Amy. I'm going to say that no, there is not a maximum number, like meaning you can register as many people as you would like. I'm going to double check with Chris on that, my web developer, but I foresee you can register up to 20, 25 people for sure. Now, can you register 300 people? Probably not. But the maximum number is going to be pretty high because he does know we have some pretty big groups that attend. Um, and then another question, if I order merch online, can I pick it up at the retreat? Yes. So and I think you mean at Crop on the Cape. So the retreat to me means Creative Journey Art Retreat, but I'm guessing you mean Crop on the Cape. And yes, I do bring a lot to sell. However, as we get closer to the event, if there's specific items that I carry in my online shop that you just want to make sure you want to secure and make sure they're set aside for you, I will have them set aside for you. And I know several other vendors do that as well. I saw Tracy in the chat who owns Papercraft Clubhouse. She's pretty sure she's going to have to rent a U-Haul this year, and I agree. However, she still can't bring her whole store. So if there's specific items that you want from her, reaching out to her ahead of time as well is super, super helpful. And Marcy's asking, do people work on cards or scrapbooks? And I talked a little bit about this at the beginning, Marcy, but we have people who work on scrapbooking. We have a lot of people who work on card making. We have some people working on mixed media. I mentioned some people just come and knit and chat with their friends. Some people bring a lot of different projects to work on and might not get any of them accomplished because they're having so much fun doing other things. So it's definitely a paper crafting event. I say paper crafting even though I just said knit. I say that because all of our classes deal with paper crafting, but it is a crafting event. No matter what craft it is you do, I think that you would have fun attending. All right, so those were the questions that I see with the word question in there. I'm going to just scroll a little bit and see if I'm missing something from something somebody asked without putting the word question at the beginning of their question. I love it. Lisa says Crop on the Cape is my favorite crafty event. Thank you so much. Christy says I'm heading back to the Cape in March. This will be my 4th year in a row. I love it. Let's see. Nicole says last year was her first year and she loved it. That's amazing. And Stacy says I've been attending since Lighthouse Scrapbooking hosted, and that was Anne, and she is the one that started this event in 1999. So a very, very long year, and then a bunch of you are chiming in on how long you've been coming, and I love that so much. Let's see, I'm just scrolling. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat for me. Libby says the swag bags are packed with goodies. I agree. I love it. So Patty's asking for a link for registration, and she says she tried to register, but it says sold out. And yeah, that's because registration doesn't open until November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern time, Patty. So you want to make sure you go back on that day and that time. And then Patty's asking the best airport to fly into. If you go to croponthecape.com and you go to the FAQ page, I explained that TF Green or Boston Logan Airport are the two to choose from. And I kind of give you all the information and the logistics about both of those. So definitely go check that out. Let's see. I'm just scrolling, making sure I'm not missing anything. Yay, Jennifer Pitsley has already picked her classes. So many good ones this year. I love to hear that. Terry just booked her room. And Libby had a good tip. Make sure that you are logged in before you go to put the registration in your cart. Because if you put it in your cart and then go to log in, it might clear out your cart. So that's a great tip, Libby. Thank you so much. And then Libby says that the vendors are where all of her money goes. Let's see. Michelle says, look how clean your studio is and so colorful. Don't look over there. All right. So let's see. And Patty, the room block code is on croponthecape.com under about. You'll see the venue information and you'll find the room block code there. And then Linda says, how do you register for classes if someone else registers for our group? So there's 2 ways that you could do that, Linda. One is the someone else who registered for your group. After they secure your registration, they could go back and register classes for you. Really, those classes don't need to be under specific names, because we hand out class tickets, and those are like cash. So whoever has that class ticket can attend the class. So if I registered my friend Josie for the event, I can then go and register me and Josie for the classes that I want to do. When I check in for registration for the event, like check in at the actual event, in my registration packet are going to be all the class tickets. So I'll just take the ones that Josie wanted and hand her her class tickets. The other way that you can do this is, I had mentioned this earlier in the live. Your friend who registers for you is going to provide me your name and your email address. And it's a manual process, but your email address will be implemented into my system where I tell it that person's registered, so they can now register for classes. The only problem with that is some of our classes do sell out quickly. So you might want to ask your friend that's registering for you to also register for your classes. Cindy says, will there be a trading table again this year? We're actually not sure, Cindy. We're kind of thinking about doing something different about that section. But we will let people know as the event gets closer, those that are attending, if that is available. And Carol's saying, is there an airport shuttle from the resort? So there isn't an airport shuttle because it is a little over an hour away, but there is bus transportation. And again, if you go to the FAQ page on the Crop on the Cape website, I explain all of that for you. And after you've read that, if you have more questions, definitely send me an email to creative-chick@shirkus.com. And Marcy wants to know, is there a husband daycare? Well, there is some, good sports bars in the area. March on the Cape can sometimes be mild. We've had husbands go off and golf. So there's options, Marcy. There's definitely options. Okay. Any last minute questions before I let you guys go? I just, again, think it's super helpful to kind of go over all of these details live with you. Again, even if you're watching the replay, I find it much easier to explain things this way than typing it all out. And again, I see so many familiar names here in the chat. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys get registered and see you in March. And then I see some new names as well. And I hope that you will join us for our 27th Crop on the Cape. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I see Michelle is here, and Michelle will be teaching a class, and her and Renee come from Scrappy Chic in Michigan, and they set up a fun vendor site as well. Super, super fun. All right, you guys, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, even with the delay. So those of you guys that were here with me live, thank you so much. And those of you that are hopefully catching the replay, because I do encourage that people watch this before registration opens. Hello, saying hi to you guys. And we will see you all on registration day. So registration for the 2026 event is November 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, November 10th, 2025. I like to just kind of stipulate it now that this lives in YouTube land, and we don't know who will stumble upon it when. All right, you guys, have a fabulous afternoon, and I'll see you all at Crop on the Cape. Bye, guys.